Okay, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a jump start. Think about what Jacob said earlier during the warm-up. He looked at the y values in the table. Look at your y values in the table. See how those are changing. And then look at the equation and see how it relates to that equation. Okay, Jessica, can you share with your table what you think you've just figured out?
Okay, well,
That's minus 3.
okay, yeah,
Did you guys come up with something?
It goes up by 1 on the x and on the y.
It does have a negative
goes
slope.
down.
How do you know it has a negative slope? Okay, but how does that relate to the equation? Because we always want to relate back to that equation, because that's what we're concentrating on
It
today.
relates back to the equation because it's because there's a negative sign. Because there's a negative number in the equation. That's why
Okay, what part of the equation is negative?
this part.
The x.
The negative 2x. Negative
Okay.
2x. But then if it's negative 2x, I mean, but minus, that's why it starts up here and mine goes down.
Okay.
How do you know if it's a negative slope and how come it can't be a positive slope? Because it's
Okay,
upside down?
write that as an I wonder. That's a good one.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay, the graph goes in a negative. Look at the equation right here. What do you notice about that equation and the graph going in the negatives?
It's a negative 2.
Okay. Okay, at this point, what I want you to do is, some people have some really good I notices and I wonders. I want you in your group to talk about your notices and wonders. Add to yours if you need to, okay? So I want to hear group discussions about some notices and wonders. And again, I keep telling people this, look at that algebraic rule, because we're always wanting to come back to that algebraic rule. Tonight your homework is going to be writing algebraic rules from tables and graphs. So how can you look at that table? How can you look at that graph and figure out an algebraic rule? Okay, and I need to hear some discussion, guys. I know you guys can talk.
So I use the equation as 1x, and I wonder if the equation had 2x's.
I said, why is it a negative slope when the line is going both
No,
ways?
it's you coming up with how to come up with the equation instead of me telling you. It's not as good if I just say, do it this way.
I don't like just doing this, that's all.
I noticed that any algebraic equation with squares it's never linear. It's like every time you have you start with like a squared of something, or if you square your x, not if you square like your constant, but if the x is what's being squared, it'll always end up being curved.
Well, this one isn't quite curved. It's
Oh,
more
it
just
doesn't have a square though. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Good, Haley. Jacob, did you share one
the
yet?
relationship between through positive x's was really different because some of the positive x's would
Okay,
equal
so I'm
positive
seeing a lot of
y's,
people
and then
making
some
a
of the
connection
positive
between the
x's would
negative
equal
2.
negative y's. I just thought
What do you
that
think
was
that
interesting.
5 is?
Yes.
That 5 is just something to
And do a bit of like,
It's a constant. How does it relate to the table and the graph?
Yes, right.
I'm giving you guys some hints on where I want you to go. So there's a 5 in this equation. What do you think that 5 has to do with that table or that graph?
5 makes it above the negative part. It starts out in the
Okay, and I'm going to give you guys a hint. A lot of you guys have noticed that that coefficient of x, a negative 2, tells you how much it's changing. Okay, what does the 5 do in the equation? How does that 5 relate to the graph in the table?
How does the 5?
And it makes the line pass from positive to negative positive.
Okay. No, I want specifically 5. What do you think that 5 means in this equation?
It means right here.
Go and talk about your group. Okay.
Look at the chart.
Yeah. What do you think it would? So,
I'm just gonna say that.
what do you think the negative 2 in the equation does?
Negative 2.
What does that negative 2 represent?
That represents the slope.
Okay, but looking at the graph in the table, what does it represent?
it multiplies
Yeah, it
change by the x by 2.
A change in y?
It changes all the negatives to positive.
it's a change in y because it's negative 2.
Let's look at that. Look at that table. How are my y why change it?
They're
Why
going
is it
down
changing?
by
Down by 2.
I put that as my I notice.
Okay, what do you think the 5 does in this equation?
That was a well, and y equals ax
Well, from -2 to 4, that's 5. Wait, no, it's not.
Okay, you guys, we're gonna share some notices and
It's the
wonders.
unit rate. Look.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, we're gonna share some notices and wonders, and then you notice at the very bottom it says, what do you need to know from the notices and wonders on writing equations? So, who would like to share an I noticed? Actually, I'll go to each table. Okay, and I'll start, I'm gonna not start on this side, I'm gonna start on this side. So, Alex, Brianna, Jacob, Matthew, and Daniel, your table. What's something that you noticed?
Brianna, would you like to share? No. Really? Okay, Jacob.
I noticed that y goes down by 2 every time.
Okay. Y goes down by 2. So that's like a -2 every time. Okay. Remember what I said, I want to relate it to the equation. So why is that important when I'm looking at this equation? So I'll go to the next table, but I want someone to answer that before I get to the end of all the tables. So Ryan, I want your guys' table to share an I noticed.
I noticed that the equation only has one x, but it goes with an I wonder, so we can also do an I wonder.
Okay,
Oh, okay, cool.
so has only one x. I'm going to put this right here in a bubble. That's an x to the first power. Okay? Okay, and how does that go to an I wonder?
I wonder if the equation had 2 x's, what would happen then?
Okay. And I heard Chloe talking with her group about that. What would happen if, and 2 x's, do you mean 2x or x squared?
Just like this one has -2x plus 5, but if the equation had like -2x plus 5x or -2x plus x plus 5, so like separate x's in the equation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you, we're gonna put that on hold because this is a good discussion. All right, Ryan.
I have another I wonder.
Okay. Or I wonder or an I notice?
I wonder.
Okay, we'll come back to the I wonders in a second. Okay, Chloe.
Okay, so for the whole squaring thing, if I noticed that if an equation has an x that's squared, it'll never be linear.
If it has an x squared, it is not linear. Okay, I think that's really important with Alex's I notice, is that it's going to be linear if I have an x to the first power. But if I have an x to the second power, it's not going to be linear. Okay, Donovan.
So I wanted to answer the question, why is the -2 the y goes down by 2 important?
Okay.
Because on the equation, it's -2x.
Okay.
And before, what Jacob said was he saw the y's going up by 4,
Okay.
and that helped him figure out the other problem. And now the y's are going down by 2. So that's like an exponent for, not an exponent, that's a very new word.
What's that word that Donovan's looking for?
Relationship?
Yes. Coefficient. The coefficient.
The coefficient of the x.
The coefficient of the x. Good. So that right here, the y goes down by 2, -2 every time. That's going to be our coefficient of x. Okay? So can I put this in a box? It's getting a little messy up here. So Donovan added in, this is the coefficient of x. Okay, and look up here. -2, down 2. All right, so let's go to this group right here. What do you notice?
Well, we all noticed that the 5 in the equation represents the unit rate.
What does it represent?
The unit rate.
Okay, does a 5 represent the unit rate?
Well, no.
The unit rate is that slope, or how much it's changing.
It represents the beginning. Like
The beginning, okay.
Yeah.
5 represents the beginning.
where you would start at a 0.
Okay, or I'm gonna call this the 0 term. Okay?
Wait.
Look right here on the 0 term.
It says
What is the 0 term?
5.
5. Now let's look at the graph. Yeah.
Isn't it the y-intercept?
Okay, on the graph, what is that number right there?
5.
5. And what do we call that?
The y-intercept.
The y-intercept. That's also the 0 term because I'm at 0 on my x-axis. So when I come up here, that's my 0 term on a graph. So the 0 term or the y-intercept. Okay, so
How do you know?
linear functions. If you have a table, how could I turn a table into an equation? Okay, what part of this equation would be replaced with different numbers if I gave you a different table? That there. Donovan? Okay, how could you look at this table and turn it into an algebraic rule?